You are about to listen to a Jason Burgos exclusive interview. You have had a very impressive career. I mean, your losses have been to mostly top-level fighters. If you beat Jake Shields, you had to be pretty good or pretty lucky, honestly. So that said, was the loss to Cooper one of the more shocking moments in a fantastic career, or did you see some serious dangers in his style?
Well, I mean, a little bit of both. I think, watching him fight, I did think he's a huge power puncher with huge knockout punches and, huge knockout power in both hands. But, I thought he had some holes in his grappling. So I definitely figured I was going to win. But, I went out there, caught some shots early on and just didn't recover. So it was definitely a little shocking. But, it's a tough sport. Anything can happen.
If you could redo things, what would you have done differently leading up to it in training and preparation and even in the fight with Ray Cooper?
Yeah, I think my training wasn't even that bad. That was the frustrating part. I think the training camp was good. I was feeling great in training. Things were going smooth. I think in the fight, I just tried rushing it a little too fast. They had there's like the point system, 6 points for a first round finish. And I was thinking, underestimated his wrestling a little bit. I knew he had really heavy hands, but then I just kind of went in there, tried forcing that clinch, and caught a couple early shots hard on. Hit me hard early on, and just never quite recovered.
So would you say that you actually you were thinking about the point system and that factored a bit into your strategy?
I think a little bit. I'm going out there thinking I want to go out there and get this first round finish. So instead of taking my time, I just kind of rushed at him. I think that's what got me caught.
Now, your scheduled opponent for PFL 6 is Herman Terrado, who was submitted in the first round of his season opening bout as well. How are you feeling about the matchup, and do you feel you can follow a similar grappling blueprint laid down by Magomed Karimov?
Yeah, I think this guy's actually pretty tough, too. I mean, he didn't look good in his last fight, but then again, neither did I. I think he's one of those guys that watched a bunch of his fights. He's a lot better than he looked in that fight. He's one of those guys well-rounded, strong, good jiu-jitsu, good wrestling, pretty good striking. So it's a tough fight, but it's really important to go out there and win this, because my long career, if I don't win this, a good chance I'll decide to call it. So it would definitely be nice to go out there and win and get in the tournament and in my career a little better.
Really? So if you don't get into the playoffs, you have seriously thought maybe this is the end of the road?
Yeah, I mean, most likely. I'm not going to say 100%, but if you go out there, I never want to be a guy fighting in these fights, losing fights. I shouldn't be. I definitely don't feel like I'm old. I don't feel like I'm not fighting well. I mean, last fight was obviously a terrible fight. I don't feel like that's the fighter I am. I feel like I just made some mistakes. So hopefully I can go out and make it right in this fight, and then take it from there and get in the tournament and still win this thing. But I'm not saying 100% I'm retiring if I lose this fight, but it's definitely a good possibility. Something I have to think about. I have been fighting around 19 years. It would be nice to go and get a few more fights, win this tournament, but we'll see what happens.
Now, you were very complimentary, Herman. I mean, do you see any, not necessarily weaknesses, but areas of his game that you could exploit to get to that win?
In the last fight, the guy kind of just rushed him and just kept throwing punches and flurries and kind of tore him apart. A couple other fights, I haven't seen all of his fights, but the other ones I watched, his losses were really close fights. Mm-hmm. So it's overall I don't see a lot of holes, but his last fight he definitely seemed a little bit overwhelmed, and the guy kind of got him down and got choked him.
Now, since 2008, you usually fight once or twice a year. How do you feel about this quick turnaround, and what are your thoughts about possibly having to fight 5 times in a 6-month period?
It's definitely tough, going right back into camp after training. Except I'm a little older now. I wasn't, especially usually I fight and I'm fine. Majority of my fights I'm not banged up at all, but the last fight I was a little banged up, I had some cuts. So I had to take a week off before I could even get back to training and then going right into camp. It's a little tough, but it's also exciting, to fight back to back. Keeps you active and keeps training.
How do you feel physically going into this fight then, since you said you were already a little banged up going to the last one?
Yeah, physically I'm fine. I was a little banged up after the fight, but then overall I'm recovered, and a lot of times not by 100%, but I'm close.
Now, since you bring that up, how different is training and game planning now? I mean, compared to 10 years ago, you do have, a lot of times you have been very successful, but you've gotten older, and I'm sure the body changes. What are the big differences now to a long time ago?
I mean, I still feel able to train a lot and push. So I don't really feel like I'm slowing down too much, but one thing, you got to game plan a little bit. I'm trying to make some changes because I know a lot of guys are going to go through, watch a lot of my footage, have so much fights out there, try to figure things out. So trying to make some changes for my next couple of fights.
What kind of schedule did you change your scheduling and in your camp for this last fight to this one now? Are you still doing the same amount of training per day? Are you training the same days per week, or you tapered it off a little bit to let your body recover?
I did slightly less. Still doing a lot, but toned it down a little bit. I think I've overtrained a little bit last time, so I'm like, all right, I gotta pull back a little bit.
What do you do? 2 days, 3 days, 6 days a week? What's your schedule like?
Yeah, usually 2 a day, sometimes 3 a day. Yeah, usually 6 days a week. I think last time, some days I was doing 7 days a week, and I'm like, all right, that's too much. Just because here, like I'm training in New York right now, and then a lot of times I'm doing John Donahill would do the jiu-jitsu classes during the weekend, so I was going to those and running. So I'm like, all right, I'm at least taking one day off a week.
Oh, so you're not based in California like usually? You're actually working out in New York this time around.
Yeah, right now I am. Yeah, I've been back and forth between California and New York. Right now I'm in New York.
Where are you training out of here?
Henzo, when I'm in New York, training with
okay.
Henzo, John Donahill, Gary Chapman, those guys.
All right. Now you were knocked out. I mean, TKO'd in the loss to Cooper, especially since we're talking about recovery, letting your body recover, and all those kind of things. There's all this talk about things like CTE, and we all know how physical and brutal the sport can be, the brain trauma and fights. Is there any concerns about a quick turnaround and letting your mind and body recover quickly enough?
I mean, yeah, first after that fight, I was thinking about it. Is it too fast to turn around? But then, within a couple of days, I felt normal. I wasn't having any concussion issues, so I decided to hop in. I took the full week off after the fight just to let myself recover. But no, yeah, it is a thing. If you're getting, luckily I wasn't fully knocked out. But when you're getting hit like that, it's not good to be fighting back to back. But if I didn't get fully knocked out. I did some hard shots though, so I took a week off and decided to get back in here.
Now, I mean, you've been, like you mentioned, 19 years, going on 20 years. I mean, a fantastic career. Would getting into the playoffs and winning this season, winning the million, would that be the greatest achievement of your career, and a career that's had a lot of big achievements?
It would be a good achievement. I don't know if I want to say the greatest, but I think it would be, in my age to come back and win that would be pretty impressive. But I've accomplished quite a bit, so it's hard to say. Tournament's pretty tough though. The thing with this tournament is a lot of young, hungry guys that are really tough that aren't big names, so it makes it pretty tough.
I mean, what would you say have been like a top 3 achievements in your career? Is it the Strikeforce welterweight title? Is it the Dan Henderson win? What are your the top achievements?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say because of a bunch of big achievements.
Mm-hmm.
Rumble in the Rock tournament was that was really big. I mean, that was kind of equivalent to something like this, but years ago. So I wouldn't say it was bigger than this, but ended up having a bunch of huge names in it. But who knows? This could end up having a bunch of huge names in it later too, as they progress. And then, the Shudo champ, Strikeforce champ, League XC champ. So won multiple titles. Yeah, this would definitely be. It would be one of my greater achievements, but I wouldn't say it's hard to really put in perspective when you have 5 titles you've won.